bruh, bruh, bruh.
It's rubbish attempt at creating effectual acronym Tuesday.
Well, hey everybody. I'm here. Normally I would be reviewing a game. I'm not reviewing a game right now. I'm more here to report a crime, ladies and gentlemen, a crime of great proportion. Um Only 114 people on Steam have reviewed this game. Very positively reviewed, but only 114 people have reviewed it. When you understand what it is, which you shall very soon, um, then you'll be like, holy crap, like, how have I not heard of this? I should have heard of this before now, and this should have been massive. And indeed, it should have been. And indeed, still can be. You know how things go on Steam. Like, there will be games that'll be like deep sleepers for a long time, and then all of a sudden they blow up. Well, this is a game that needs to blow up because it's incredible. It's incredible who worked on this. It's incredible who, like, how well put together it is. It's incredible, like, the subtext of the entire thing. Like, it's a very you know, it is like if Jonathan Swift, who was always misunderstood in his lifetime, he's the man who wrote Gulliver's Travels, which everyone assumes is like, oh, it's just a fun travel story. Some people crack the big end of the egg and the other people crack the little end. And it's like, no, that is a scathing rebuke of the politics of his time, which was also during the potato famine, which was not a potato famine. It was a we have to feed England first famine. And so while the very wealthy glutted themselves on the fat of Ireland's land, the people starved, and Jonathan Swift wrote, like, the most satirical thing ever, which, if you remember this from high school English, I'm a high school English teacher, bear with me, but is the one that's like, you know what we should do to solve the problem of the homeless Irish pouring through our streets? We eat their babies. We make their babies a delicacy, and then proceeds to, like, provide recipes and, like, a long-term planned out market for, like, how baby flesh can be priced competitively with other meats. like he goes really deep into this, like, absurd thing that he's like, no one will take this seriously. Like, everyone will get that this is satire when I'm like, oh, you don't want starving Irish children in your streets? Well, as I see it, there's only one option. Eat their young. And it's like, of course that's not the thing. Of course, the thing you should do is, like, you know, treat them with dignity and respect as human beings and take care of them however you can. But, like, he's like, yeah, just eat their young. And everybody was like, what? How dare you? Because they thought he was serious. He was like, oh, so y'all don't get satire. Like, and he's British, and he is writing to a British audience. And they're like, yeah, Gulliver's Travels, this is a fun little travel story. And there's been, like, 57 different movies made of it. Not one of them acknowledges any portion of any, like, political satire whatsoever. Like, none. And so, like, yeah. Anyway, I feel like that's going on here. Because, you know, like, Broforce. And this, like, overly machismo ridiculousness of the American action movie star. And, like, yeah, it is this, you know, absurd bravado. Like, when you take it out of context, it is, you know, like, when you're watching it in a popcorn flick on a Saturday afternoon, it's like, this is perfectly fine. This is exactly what should be happening and what Bruce Willis should always be doing. You know, but, like, taken out of context, it's this absurd version of masculinity that like is actually entirely too fueled at this moment in our nation's history. And so like the game is not being like, this is what masculinity should be. It's just kind of like, hey, isn't this kind of dumb? Like, here's a fun game to play, but also, can we agree that this kind of iconography is absurd? And so that's this game, you know, where it's like super patriotic, hardcore anti-communist, you know, and it's funny that like I wonder if there's some like suppression by the Chinese government, because they literally call out the Chinese, and the bad guys are the Chinese military, albeit, you know, like in cartoon form, you know, but like it's literally America versus China. This was released in 2019, and Freedom Finger is, it's a weird little monkey, but the subtext of it is this like, oh my God, can you believe that it's the year that it is, and this is the kind of posturing that we have in the world? You know, like this kind of ridiculous bravado that is born of like action movies that no one should take too seriously. You know, like if you've ever seen those memes where it's like 20 dudes all with shaved heads, they're wearing you know, singlets, undershirts. I don't want to call them the thing that most Americans call them. Anyway, but like, yeah, undershirt and like, all saying like, it's all about family. It's all about family. You know, pretending to be Vin Diesel's character from Fast and Furious. Like watching 20 dudes do that all at once is like horrifying. But it's funny that somebody would do that because like it identifies the absurdity of the initial character, that like really this is the weird thing that you're doing, that you're putting out there and being like, yeah, this is the ideal, and people are going to be like, yeah, this is an acceptable ideal for how things ought to be. Just, you know, crime, but together. Anyway, weird and absurd, the American bravado, and like this game makes fun of it. And here's the thing that I can't believe it's gotten me this deep into this review to say. Who did this? Well, John DiMaggio, who you know as Bender from Futurama, and Jake the dog from Adventure Time, and a million other things from a million of your favorite other things. Like, for real, you know his voice. He is one of the great voice actors of our time. As also is Nolan North. Nolan North, whom you know as, if you've ever heard Nathan Drake in any of the Uncharted games, you know? Like, that's him. Deadpool, in anything that's not Ryan Reynolds, he's the voice of Deadpool for all of those things, which is a lot more things than you'd think. Also, he was on a soap opera, but I don't care about that. But it's Nolan North also did this. And then Sam Riegel, who's he? Oh, he's just Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and also Donatello in the, 2003 Ninja Turtles and stuff. Like, he's kind of a big deal. He's done a lot of things. And, like, these are the voice actors in this game. And not only are the voice actors, like, really impressive, but Aesop Rock, who is like a great, like, underground hip-hop artist, like, really good. And Red Fang, who are like kind of like a stoner metal, almost like a doom metal that's kind of like, think Caius, or like, Queens of the Stone Age, which also, kind of Caius, or like Sleep. Yeah, think Sleep. There's a good band to compare it to. Yeah, really cool sound. Comtrues and Power Trip are kind of like synthwave, darkwave kind of stuff, which is really cool. And Ty Segall, or I don't know if it's Siegel or Seagal. It's probably Siegel, because I think only, Steven Seagal is the only one who's going to insist upon it. I think anybody else would be like, it's Siegel, whatever. Anyway, but he's like a garage rock dude who is like a really big deal. He's like basically a one-man King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So like, anyway, yeah, the soundtrack to this game is phenomenal. Like, you could just not even play the game, buy the soundtrack, and have yourself a dandy of a time. Like, because I had purchased this game a long time ago and had not played it until tonight, and I loved it. Like, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is very, very fun, very, very, like, off-kilter humor, but also, like, what I didn't expect was how good of a shooter it is. Like, it's a decent challenge, and not only is it a decent challenge, but, like, it is very interesting, the gameplay mechanics that it brings in that you kind of take for granted because of how silly the game is and how, like, you know, it's satirical. It has these satirical overtones. So you don't take a lot of things in the game too seriously. And so it's easy to miss the fact that, like, the hand aspect of Freedom Finger, where you can punch things, and you can punch things into things, you know, so you can destroy enemies with space debris and stuff, you know, and you can grab enemies and use their guns against the other enemies, like, and then chuck that enemy when you're done using it, chuck it and take out enemies by throwing it. Like, so there are all these hand things that you can do, and it's 2 buttons on the controller. Like, you have your shoot button, you have your punch button, you have your grab button. That's pretty much it. And the punch and grab are
My
double.
jimmies are tingling.
Yeah, there are 2 inputs for each, so you can do whichever you want. I found the triggers to be the best place for me, and I was able to punch and grab and throw and, like, do all the things a hand does in this quirky, weird, funny, awesome with the people who worked on it. I mean, this game has big deal energy, you know? Like, it seems like it should be a big deal. And the funny thing is that, like, this is Wide Right Interactive. They're from Buffalo, New York. If you know what wide right means to people from Buffalo, New York, you know that it's, like, associated with valiant tries that result in ultimate failure. And the fact that this game has 114 positive reviews, and I'm going to leave one tonight. Like, that is going to happen. You can count on that. But, like, given the people who worked on this game, who put their faith in it, and it paid off, because the game itself is excellent. It's very fun and very good. It is one of the best shooters I have played in a while. And with the people who worked on it, it's like, how is this not the biggest deal? How was it not the biggest deal of 2019? And how is it 2024 and it only has 114 reviews? Bruh, that is a crime. Like I said, I'm here to report a crime. I am giving this game a final score of an 8 out of a possible 10 Glorkian Warriors, The Trials of Glork. You know what? Scratch that. I'm a bump it. I'm calling it audible. 9 out of 10. Because gameplay, 8 out of 10. This soundtrack? Like, I'm going to listen to the soundtrack on its own. There are only, like, 3, 4 other Steam games that I can say that about. So, like, yeah, 9 out of 10. Glorkian Warriors, The Trials of Glork. Glorkian Warriors, Trials of Glork is another underappreciated shooter on Steam that I love and nobody else seems to care about, even though it is excellent. And it's somebody's like hard work, it's their baby. They, dreamed the thing up and put it into reality, and it's great. And yet it suffers from a lack of people knowing about it. That's how I feel about books that I write. Books of poetry that I may or may not have ever mentioned on here that anybody remembers. Ask me if you care, and I'll tell you. But if you don't care, I'm not going to tell you. Anyway, people, this one has gone on for long enough. This game is excellent, and you should play this game. It is a fun game, and you should play it. I really, really enjoy this game. And, anyway, thanks for being here for this one, people. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.